Also fun to watch the next fight. Arnold Khegai, Odessa, Ukraine. Eduardo Fantastico Baez from Mexicali, Mexico. 10-round super bantamweight division. That's the next fight here in downtown Omaha. In the dressing room, final warm-ups for Arnold Khegai, who's overcome so much, having to flee Ukraine to relocate with his family in Nice, France, to survive the Russian invasion. Let's learn more about Arnold Khegai.
Camp is good. Camp did is good. Working with Marvin, we worked maybe 3 years ago, and it's a good job, good style for me. We understand each other, and now I feel good. I'm ready. My situation not good because in my country war, and my motivation, I need help my country won this fight. I need to win this fight. For many people watch my flag. My name is from Ukraine, and my family, and now I'm 30 years old. Now I pick my life. I need to win this fight. I need to win this fight. I must.
Dressing room for Fantastico Baez. Weighed in yesterday at 125.8 pounds. He said he expects a gruesome war. A Mexican fighter, it means one thing: tough, scrappy. He's a boxer who's never going to give up. He's going to put on a spectacle. He cannot wait to perform in front of what is now a sold-out house here at the CHI Health Center in downtown Omaha, Nebraska. Head-to-head with Arnie Khegai from Odessa, Ukraine, who now lives in Nice, France. Should be a tremendous fight. Everyone here waiting for the main event, of course. But Crawford, Avanesyan, and with Sam a moment ago, we heard a very confident David Avanesyan, who is ready to fight, and is not going to be just another win on Bud Crawford's record, who goes for 39-0 tonight. That is the main event. But next, Arnie Khegai head-to-head with Eduardo Fantastico Baez. To the ring announcer, let's go back to Lupe Contreras.
Entering the arena in the blue corner, Eduardo Baez.
Here comes Eduardo Baez. In his last bout, he fought for the WBO featherweight championship of the world against Emmanuel Navarrete. Got knocked out in the 6th round with a left hook to the body. Antonio, how good is Baez?
Well, coming back off a loss, we got to see. You know, it could be defeating. I mean, his plans may have changed, his goals, but getting knocked out with a body shot, man, that's a mental thing you got to overcome.
We'll see if there's any lingering effects. He has promised to leave it all in the ring tonight. He knows how important this bout is.
In the red corner, Arnold Khegai.
You heard Dave mention about Arnold Khegai's recent trials and tribulations. He took his wife and son to Nice, France as a refugee at the start of the Ukraine war. So just how important is this for him, considering all he's going through? This is a distraction for him. It gets him away from having to worry about his family being bombed in the Ukraine, but also it's a way to provide for his family, Paulie. A lot on the line for Arnold Khegai, especially if he can win this fight.
Yeah, and you notice a lot of all of the Ukrainian fighters, they come here representing a little bit more than just themselves, a little bit more than just their cultures. Obviously, everybody gets in the ring representing their culture, but when there's something like what's going on in Ukraine happening to the families and friends of these guys, and even where these guys themselves come from, it gives them a little added leverage, a little added motivation, and that's what Khegai Khegai fighting for. It's obviously to provide for the family, but also to, you know, keep everybody in Ukraine upbeat as well.
From the CHI Health Center, this is BLK Prime pay-per-view. Crawford versus Avanesyan still to come. The WBO welterweight championship of the world. We continue with a 10-round special attraction in the super bantamweight division. Our judges are Mike Contreras, Jeff Sennett, and Tom Nilly. Our referee, Kirk Drake. Presenting first, the fighter standing in the blue corner. He enters wearing red with silver and black trim on the scale. He registered on official 125 3/4 pounds. Tonight, this former world title challenger enters the BLK Prime ring for the 27th time as a pro with 21 victories against 3 losses, 2 draws, 7 of those victories coming by way of KO. From Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico, Puro Chicali, Eduardo Fantástico Baez. His opposition in the red corner, wearing black with silver trim, he weighed in at an official weight of 126 pounds. Tonight, he enters for the 21st time as a professional with a record of 18 victories against 1 loss, 1 bout even, 11 of those victories coming by way of KO. Representing his homeland of Odessa, Ukraine, Arnold Khegai.
To the center. Gentlemen, you've received your instructions in the dressing room. Any questions from the red corner? Any questions from the blue corner? I want to remind you, protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at all times. I want you to fight hard, fight clean, fight like men. Box on my command.
Featherweight division. Khegai, 30 years old, 5'5" with a 66-inch reach. That's 4 inches shorter than Eduardo Baez, who will also be 4 inches taller. They promised us a war, gentlemen. Let's see what happens. And here we go. Arnold Khegai from Ukraine in the solid black shorts. Eduardo Baez from Mexicali, Mexico, wearing the red tasseled trunks. Scheduled for 10.
Baez is running out pretty aggressively.
Heads coming in, guys. Watch those heads coming in.
Baez told us he would use Mexican style to win this fight.
I tell you what, though, Khegai not looking to give ground himself either, so these guys could wind up at middle to close range for a lot of this fight. This is the mentality they wind up continuing to have.
Antonio, when you were watching tape of these two guys, who did you give the edge to?
Well, I have to give the edge to Baez coming in here because, I'm sorry,
Khegai,
because he only lost to world champion Stephen Fulton from Philadelphia, and he's one of the, I think, the slickest fighters out there today. And he came back and got 2 wins before he came back into this fight. So I think he's past that 1 loss. He could be on creating another win streak right now.
And on the other side, you know, Baez is coming off the loss to Navarrete, right? It was a world title fight, but nonetheless, you're still coming off a knockout loss.
Right.
yeah, Khegai coming off a first-round knockout win in May over Ruben Garcia.
Look out of there. Look out of there. Stop. Quick.
But overall, I think this is a great matchup. I think the matchmaker did great on this Prime, BLK Prime main event, the showcase.
Boy, holding and hitting was Khegai. The referee didn't stop him.
Good shot.
No feel-out process for these two.
That hook landed.
Baez, despite being tall and having the reach advantage, he doesn't mind being on the inside.
I'll tell you what, Khegai, I'm not going to call it dirty, Paulie. but he's not invited. He's hitting at the back of the head. He's hitting the back.
Yeah, you get away with what the ref lets you get away with. The ref's going to start giving some warnings, but nonetheless, it was told to me a long time ago, and I'm sure Antonio heard the same thing. In there, it's a fight. If you go out looking for the referee's protection, you know, some referees are more stringent with the rules. Some referees let a lot go, so you've got to handle it yourself. Yeah, he got that right hand behind the head going.
Well,
he's landed that thing 3 times, bro.
He gets to measure a lot. He puts his glove on by his neck a lot and measures.
It's one of the few sports in the world that if you don't like what your opponent is doing, you can punch him in the face.
Nice body shot.
Yes. If Baez gets in range, I mean, he's very, very active. He likes to throw in combination.
That was just the first round.
Yeah, there's no feel-out
What happened
process.
to the fill-out?
Yeah, there was no feel-out. And you know what? Todd had said these guys promised the war, right?
Baez used to throwing a lot of punches.
Because he put his head low. Every time you throw a punch, he ducks. Okay, well, let's focus more with the uppercut. Okay? Remember, when he put his head here, just use this and move to the side, and then we throw the
No, he's ducking his head, but don't hold down.
Yeah, because his head is low. Okay? Understand? I like the jab to the body.
In Eduardo Baez's fight against Jose Vivas, they combined to throw 1,600 punches. Those are like Chocolatito Estrada type of numbers, Paul.
Yeah. I'll tell you, he looks like the kind of, if he can stay in his range, he'll just keep throwing. You know, Khegai does a good job of being a little bit in and out at times. And then when he's at close range, Khegai does a good job of throwing the speedier punches. But if Baez is able to ledge language in there, I'm telling you, this guy, you can tell he's just looking to throw punches consistently. It's those little tricky things that Khegai does, like that arm on the neck, that prevents Baez from being active on the inside.
Khegai trying to back Baez up. Still putting that forehand right on the back of the head.
You got to be careful here. Here's the thing. It's also Baez coming in with his head. So, nice body shot.
Oh, Khegai got it good, and then again, he knows Baez got stopped in his last fight with a body shot.
Oh, good body shot. Baez took it well.
Antonio, are there lingering effects from a body shot if it happened several months ago?
Oh, no, of course not.
Well, I mean, headshots can linger.
Once you go through training camp, but those body shot does last about a week, though. You know what I mean? The headshots last a little longer.
So the body doesn't get softened up, so to speak, for the next opponent.
If you're not doing your ab work, it could, for sure.
Again, you see Khegai very, very rough, and I'll tell you,
very rough and tough.
Baez's neck is going to be really sore tomorrow from having to deal push back against all that pushing down on it.
Oh, nice uppercut, but there's a body shot again from Khegai.
Every time he throws punches, he does pull.
Yeah, but yeah, you see what it is.
By his head, he pulls it down.
The thing you can say there, though, is see Baez comes in with his head a little bit, and then that's the thing. He's either trying to block the head or he's pushing it down so he doesn't get buttered himself.
Khegai has 18 wins, 11 knockouts. Baez 21 wins with 7 KOs.
Good body shot.
It's body shot by Baez.
I think Baez is looking for his rhythm. He just hasn't been able to get his rhythm, and I think that he's not using that jab as much as he should.
I think right from there, because he doesn't use the jab as much as he should, because he's looking to use the jab only to throw right hands and cut him to range like this, right? So instead of sitting on the outside, maybe jabbing a little bit until something opens up, he's just looking to use it just to get inside. You know, there's a lot of Mexican fighters want to be inside. It's just that Khegai stops a lot of his work with this little tricky arm holding and pushing down on the neck. So it ends up being Khegai doing the work, and then pushing down on his head. So again, it's tricky inside fighting.
Boy, he is throwing everything into those punches, isn't he, Khegai?
Well, that hook looked good, though.
Yeah. Khegai is getting comfortable in there now.
And there's Bud. Doesn't have a care in the world, does he, Antonio?
No, he looks real relaxed, veteran, pound for pound. You know, he's just ready to get out there and show out.
And yes, he does only have one R in his name. I know a lot of people spell it wrong. It's one R. Terence Crawford.
Look at determination, focus.
It's also when you've done this for so long, it just becomes a part of your demeanor. You know where your mind is going to be at in that dressing room already. You know, you just go to that place that you know already where to go to. You know, that you've been there so many times because you're a veteran.
He told us this would most likely be his final fight in Omaha, so the fans are going to soak it up.
Get up, stop.
So you see Khegai, what he does in there, with that hold, then he'll use it to shift over, and he's making things rough.
He's trying to hide the arm from the referee as well, shield it.
Well, he's making the referee do his job tonight. He's going to have to be on it.
And Baez, what he does too, he falls in with that right hand, and that also ends up leading to him getting pushed down or all that other stuff. See, he falls in with his right hand every time. And that's because he actually picks up that back leg. You're not supposed to pick up your back leg when you're throwing the right hand.
He's bending down, and he's not breaking from the hip.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. That's why the head is there to be pulled and snatched down.
Yeah, his head gets in there before the right hand does.
There's the push down. He was even on his toes for leverage that time. Surprised the referee has not been more vigilant as he gets tossed to the ground.
You push the head, stop that. Clean it up, I'm thinking.
The ref wants to see it cleaned up. But Khegai does it really sneaky though, man. You know, like right in there by his push his way in, so you can make it look like he pushed him back.
Let's go. Right.
And Khegai sits down on those punches, doesn't he?
And hurtful intentions.
Fight out of there. Work out of there. Let go. Let go.
Again, you see the tricky things Khegai does. You see how he bends down and puts his head right under the chin of Baez. That's so he's in better punching position. You know, you can't really, it's hard to really punch when you got the other guy's chin, the other guy's top of the other guy's head right in your chin.
Well, Baez is 4 inches taller, but you wouldn't know it in these exchanges as Khegai holds his head down. Like this.
And that's, again, it's because Baez comes in with his head. You know, he leans in. Look, he's on the front foot, which I guess throw that body shot helps you, but not when you're throwing other things.
I just think he's smothering himself. He's getting in too close, and he's not able to work from that distance.
Yeah, and he's tall, and he does not really understanding how to maximize the leverage on his shots. Khegai does a good job, I'll tell you that. He knows his ideal range. He's short.
The balance comes from the ground up rather than being off balance and everywhere. There you go.
The ref keeps warning. But again, the ref has to be careful with Baez's head too, because you see what happens there. They kind of banged heads because Khegai didn't use his arm.
It's just mastering distance when you're in there boxing. You need to know where you need to be.
Yeah, and that can be the most important thing. Understanding your ideal distance and making sure the fight is fought at that distance.
You're keeping that head down, I'm taking point.
Somebody in Kheigai's corner should be telling the referee back when the referee comes and says, you keep doing that, you're going to take away points. Somebody in the referee Kheigai's corner should be saying, all right, we'll get his head out of our face. You know, that way you kind of have the ref looking two ways instead of just looking at the one to take away the point.
That round is very close round, so I don't know, right? We need to throw more than one. Loose, not too much power, just speed, all right? We need points, okay? And
is it knockdown or whatever, push down, whatever we call it, little takedown. Little MMA. No points in this sport for that.
Round 4 is correct. Arnold Khegai, Korean parents. Started in Muay Thai before he became a boxer. Was 14-year-old Muay Thai, and then at the age of 20 switched over to boxing. So a 10-year career, and he's done very well. 18-1-1.
There go. Slide down in there. Stop!
Not the most aesthetically pleasing fight we've ever seen.
But again, Antonio made a good point last round, and that Baez, he smothered himself. You know, he's throwing these wide, he gets really close, but then he throws these body shots really wide. Nice right hand there by Khegai. Even Khegai could probably do a better job of cutting off the ring as well, as he's allowing Baez when he wants to circle.
I asked Baez about his training camp. He said the toughest thing for me was laundry. I said, what? He said, I've been sweating through all my clothes and working so hard, I just constantly have to wash clothes. It's so annoying. Baez also has a twin brother, Leonardo, who's an established pro boxer. Runs in the family.
You see what Khegai does. He gets his head underneath there, so he's in the better punching position. And then when he can't get his head underneath Baez's chin, and Baez's head is in a better position, what does Khegai do? He just pushes on down on Baez's head. That way, Baez can't work from the better position. But you'll notice when Khegai is up high in there, when they're on the inside, Khegai will right away look to get his head underneath Baez's chin. And from there, he looks to work.
Oh, overhand right on the ear. That could have discombobulated Khegai, but he handled it well.
I just don't understand why a guy is tall and has the reach allows a guy to get through his front hand just that easy.
Yeah, because again, he keeps falling in, Antonio. Like you said, when you fall in, you do the other guy a favor.
Good jab.
Good shot.
That's a love cut there by Baez. But again, right at this range is when Baez has to be first. This is the range where Baez has to be first. If you're at your ideal range and then Khegai is still getting off first, then you know you just don't want to win this bad enough.
Yeah, he's just coming in too close, smothering his punches and smothering his range right there. Even when he lands, he's in too close to have ultimate power on him.
See again, the head Khegai, he dips it right down. See, just to get it down underneath it. If he can't get it down underneath his head, then he'll hold Baez's head down, because Baez is the better position on the inside.
It just seems like Baez is reacting after Khegai every time in this inside when they're close like that. Khegai just beat him to the punch.
Yeah, and you know what that comes down to, champ? That comes down to, I think he just wants to win more than him. He wants to win more than him.
Desire.
Nearly 18,000 fans here in Omaha, Nebraska. They've been very vocal, and you know they're going to make some noise for this MMA legend who's making the transition, at least tonight, Paulie, to the sweet science.
Boxing, it's always a big deal when people, big stars from MMA come over to boxing. They always generate a lot of fanfare, and I expect Cyborg to be no different.
She takes on Gabby Holloway, who's also been in MMA, but not nearly as successful as one of the all-time greats, Chris Cyborg. She was wearing her Brazilian jersey yesterday, confident that her team would beat Croatia, but unfortunately she had to weigh in the jersey. She was quite sad, but she said, I'm going to give my country something to be excited about.
Sorry, it's better off than me. You know, my Italians didn't even qualify for the World Cup.
There you go.
After winning the Euro Cup, how do they do that? Don't get me started.
Round 5 scheduled for 10. Check. Let's check in with Blue to see how he has it through 4 rounds.
I got it 4 rounds to nothing. I mean, Khegai is using everything in there tonight except for the Boston Crab and the figure 4 leg lock fillers. But I think it's making Baez a little sloppy and uncoordinated as he's coming in. But I got it up 4 rounds to nothing for Khegai.
Is that how it feels to you, Paulie?
Yeah, no, I can't disagree at all. You know, Khegai seems to be be in control of the pace of this fight and the rhythm of this fight. Baez at times does decent work, but even when he's doing decent work, he's not maximizing his leverage. He's smothered himself, like Antonio said earlier, and it's not an ideal distance. And Khegai is able to take away the play from him, even on the inside, especially, and on the outside as well.
And even with you guys believing that Baez is down 4 rounds, there's no urgency in his boxing. There's no urgency.
Nah.
And then he just threw 3 punches, all missed, because he wasn't looking at what he was hitting.
Yeah, he's falling in. He puts his head down and just throws. And this is what he's got to be doing. At this range, he's got to be first every time. If you're going to stay at middle range, middle to long range, he's got to be first every time. If he's not going to be first at middle to long range, he can't win this fight, because at close range, Khegai is doing everything, right? And even at middle range, that's where the fight's got to be won for Baez if you're Baez. But it's Khegai who's getting off first most of the time at middle range too, with the exception of about 20 seconds this round.
And in those 20 seconds, that's where he should be pitching camp, right there, using that jab.
Well, why is he going back for 40 feet? Why is he doing that? He just landed a combination. He could take just out of range. As soon as the guy comes back in, you meet him with more punches.
He's not fighting like an experienced fighter that his record indicates. And I think, I'm waiting on him to wake up, and it seems like he won't wake up.
This is a guy that's fought for a world title. They both have. Well, Khegai, to me, looks like the one who's more hungry to get back at that kind of level. Baez is starting to go through the paces. Like Khegai, it's like he doesn't even want to deal with the rough stuff that Khegai is offering anymore.
Too close. Good
nice uppercut on the inside there for Baez.
But you know what? Sometimes when you just let your hands go, they run into it. And that's why what I advise young fighters, just let your hands go. You'll be surprised how many times a guy run into a knockout.
Yeah. We saw that with Rolly Romero and Tank. Belt line shot there from Khegai. This was a better round for Baez. The crowd not exactly loving it.
Yeah, they want to get Cyborg and Crawford in the ring already.
They cheered louder for the Cyborg shot.
Más golpes, más golpes, más golpes. No te confundas y no me malentiendas. Que el que no te quedes no quieres que no tires golpes. Hay que tirar golpes, muchos golpes, pero sin quedarte. Tus golpes combina, 1, 2, 3, 4 y salte, pásalo. Tampoco es que te vayas para atrás. Puedes hacer lo que te estoy diciendo. Hoy no queremos sorpresa, no se la vayan a dar. Búscala, pero a tu distancia, pero tú búscala. Dale ganando. Tenemos 5 más. También hay un pescuezazo al video. También hazle lo que tú estás haciendo. No confío, necesito que trabajes.
So here we go. Round 6 scheduled for 10. Arnold Khegai in the all-black shorts. Eduardo Baez, who's coming off a world title opportunity, is in the red with black tassels. Nice uppercut from him. Landed one in the last round as well. A lot of big-name fighters in the building tonight. Ivan Redcash, Adrian Broner. I can see Regis Prograis over there. Of course, Antonio Tarver and Ali Malignaggi to my right. Zab Judah's here. And of course, our main event, Terence Bud Crawford, returning after a 13-month break to take on David Avanesyan.
You see, Baez gets himself into the effort fight, right? Where, like, you're banging away and who does more work. But if you're not going to win the effort fight, you got to make it the fight of fighting at range, because you're so much taller. You got to fight at range, because here it becomes just a matter of effort. And Khegai is able to give more effort each and every time because he probably wants to win the fight more.
I'll tell you what, Khegai is absolutely chiseled. Fantastic physique. And he's a bruiser.
I know one thing. If something in the ring isn't working, I'm going to be trying other things, Paulie. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how long can you stick to that script when it's not working?
And honestly, when he's first and he holds range, Khegai kind of respects it, because it's not like Khegai is all that active with his own jab. You could actually use your jab and keep him at range of these longer shots, because Kagai's not that active with his own jab either. And when he throws a jab, he throws the same jab every time, which is that power jab. So you can time that as well. There's opportunities there to do stuff with Khegai, but Baez just isn't thinking. He's just going through the paces.
Well, you wonder if Baez's corner is honest with him. As Adrian Broner pops in to say hello. You didn't come say hello to me?
AB never at a loss for words. Well, nice counter hook there by Baez.
Boy, Khegai just lowers his head sometimes and just comes marching in.
Again, positioning.
A couple of kidney shots, Antonio. Those always feel good, don't they?
In the back.
All he thinks his head in there, too.
Surprised we haven't seen a point deduction. Oh, there's a straight right that connects for Khegai.
See, Baez wants to get active, but Khegai takes away the range from him.
He smothers it.
Golpes, muchos golpes, ¿ok? ¿Qué round vamos? ¿Qué te digo? Al aire, hombre. ¿Por el 7? ¿Qué round hiciste mejor, Lalo? ¿Qué? Vamos para el 7. Hay que ganar ya. Continuidad, necesitamos gato. Then counter right away. Right combination, right? You use your jab. We need to set up with the jab so we can get closer. Okay? Because if you throw right hand, and sometimes it's very far. So your feint, you use your feint and then jab. Okay?
Good job. Good work, Arnold. Keep it up.
Very good. That's nothing. More to the body, okay?
So here we go. The fight rolls on, scheduled for 10 rounds. Here in the featherweight division.
Work out of there.
Arnold Khegai seemingly having more success as Eduardo Baez's corner is telling him to throw more punches. I believe that's what mucho golpe means.
And this fight is starting to become like a microcosm of itself each and every round, you know, where you kind of see the same thing every round. There's no adjustments being made. And then you were waiting here, sitting there waiting for the adjustment from Baez, but it's not there. And when it's there, it's not very consistent at all. And right here, he's got to be first. If he's not first. What did they say in Talladega Nights? If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah.
Well, that's in boxing. That really counts in this fight.
That was deliberately behind the head. He got to take a point.
You okay? Okay. Here we go.
Another shot to the back of the head. He's hit his kidneys. He's hit his spine.
But I thought for sure the ref was going to come in and discipline him with a point, take a point then, but he didn't.
Paulie, if I'm Baez, maybe I start doing some of the same stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, Baez just looks so disinterested at this point. It's almost like he's tired of fighting this kind of fight. He doesn't want to do the work to try to win the fight. He's not, like I said, he's not even thinking his way through it anymore. I mean, it's the same thing every round, you know? Because at this range right here, you got to be first. You have to be first. You can't let Khegai be first at this range right here.
And I think this fight was one of those type of fights where you really see where both fighters are at what level they're at and what class. And I think we're seeing right now that maybe Baez is not at that class that we would like to see him at. And when you rate him with this performance, you got to say what, a C-class fighter?
Yeah. I mean, you know what it is? Khegai, for all the effort he gives you a lot of opportunities to, make him pay for some things that he does. It's just Baez is disinterested.
There's a left right to the jaw.
And he caught that because he went straight back when he got attacked. He didn't go straight back like that.
And sometimes you get in that ring and you know that you just don't have it tonight. And that in itself could be defeating because you know you can do much better than what we're seeing.
And especially when you feel like that and you got a buzzsaw in front of you.
Yeah.
This Khegai,
that don't do nothing to help it.
Yeah.
Well, we mentioned the fire that is driving Khegai. Had to leave Ukraine. Took his family to France because of the war. Now he fights for his country and his family.
Is he living here now or is he living in France?
He's training in the United States. Not sure if he's moved here full time.
Interesting.
Okay. Arnold, we get better distance when we use this. You can make
See the rabbit punches. Baez started out with a couple of rabbit punches there. So what does Khegai do? He gives it back.
He finished it.
I tell you what, Todd, you were mentioning doing it back. I mean, Khegai never misses a chance to do it back.
No.
It's Baez who misses out on the chances to do the back. Now at that time, he initiated it, and Khegai right away made him pay for it. Yeah, sort of the way boxing pleases itself inside those ropes at the end of the day, right?
Here we go.
Round 7. 4 to go. That's 12 minutes for Baez to turn this around.
Yeah,
Stay off his head.
and turning it around is not just hanging around in there. I mean, there's got to be specific adjustments made. He comes out doing the same thing every round. He'll do this for maybe 20 seconds right now, and it'll actually work. And when he gets off with it, of course, he's not getting off first now. But if he does this and gets off first, it actually does work, but just he doesn't do it consistently.
Let's see how Blue has it scored.
Stop!
Trying to get his microphone open. All right, we'll check in with him in the next round. And there's another swing from behind by Khegai. Why not? If they're not taking points, bombs away from everywhere.
Yeah. And you know, his Baez positioning also doesn't help his own cause either. He falls in like that, so then the referee doesn't feel like it's just Khegai doing it. It's also because Baez is falling into it, you know? Don't get me wrong, Kagai's definitely doing it, but Baez gives him opportunities to cover it up and make it look like an accident.
Straight right score for Baez, his best punch in a while.
Uh-oh.
Wait a second. Some life in the Mexican.
Watch your head. Stop.
He's warned him at least 15 times.
But again, you see Baez comes in with his own head too, so it takes away the obvious of the things Khegai does, because Baez ends up falling in and sort of enabling some of them.
And Baez is going back like that every time he gets.
Yeah, nice cut. That might have been a butt.
You know what he should do? Step back and step forward with a 1-2. Yeah. Do something different.
And also when he steps back, he steps back too far too. Sometimes Khegai doesn't even follow. He hits him with a shot. He goes back 20 feet. Hey, bro, how are you going to make him pay when he steps back forward?
Right.
Look at the mouse under the left eye of Baez.
Yeah, and that might have been a headbutt, Todd. Who knows? That one came out of nowhere.
Nice.
Well, if you're Khegai, would you change anything right now, Antonio?
Not. I mean, I'll be doing the same thing I'm doing. Just try to get a little closer, land a little more cleaner shots. I think we could have seen that tonight. Behind the head once again.
Yeah, this thing's Khegai can probably just work on at this point. You know, I would like to see a guy come in behind his jab and not just rush in all the time. Like right there he used it. You know, maybe start working on little things like that. See if you can open up other shots other than the ones you've been landing already.
Clean it up.
No, necesitamos ganarlos, necesitamos ganarlos. Ok. Tú ya te diste cuenta lo que tienes que hacer. 1, 2, me salgo. 1, 2, pico el gancho. Una derecha y meto el gancho por dentro, afuera y salte.
All right, let's try and check in with Blue again to see how he has it through 8 rounds. Hey, Blue.
Oh, no, fellas, I don't have much changing, man. I have it 80-72, 8 rounds to 0 in favor of Khegai. I would love to see him use his jab to try to control the distance, try to control the pace of the fight, and I would love to see a referee actually respond and take a point, man. All the hitting behind the head and illegal tactics, but hey, if I'm Khegai, I'm not going to change anything. 8 rounds to 0 in favor of Khegai.
So just 9 and 10 left.
Okay.
But you wonder if Baez is being told that story in his corner, because there doesn't seem to be, like Paulie said earlier, so much urgency.
I understand Spanish. They told him they're winning.
Shut up.
Yeah, so estamos ganando. So
he got to take a point.
No,
here it comes. Here it comes.
And it's long overdue, but I'm glad it came finally.
But you know why it was long overdue, Antonio? Because it wasn't as easy to see because of Baez falling in with his head. If he wasn't falling in with his head so much, I think Khegai would have lost points a few rounds ago. But it almost, a lot of times, Khegai makes it look like he's forced to push his head down to avoid getting headbutted.
He said, there's no malice here. What am I supposed to do?
Exactly. I'm just trying to avoid a headbutt.
Right.
I remember when I was fighting, anytime the referee warned me for holding him behind the head, I would say, get his head out of my face, even if the guy wasn't butting me. Just to give the ref something else to see.
Just to argue. Well, it's already opening up a little bit more now that Kagai's not holding.
Yeah.
Right? It's a totally different fight, yeah.
You take a point, you get a whole different fight all of a sudden.
But I think their styles just don't gel.
Yeah, because also it's Baez too. You see Baez falling with his head there. Their Baez falling with his head and got butted.
Good jab. Good jab finally landed.
But they're banging heads in there too, man. There's some good headbutts going on.
Well, I know who's gonna win the headbutt war, but when Baez looked back at this fight, he may be disappointing himself in not fighting from the distance that he should to give himself the best chance to win.
I tell you, we're talking about Baez smothering himself, but Khegai smothers himself too, man. You know, he just knows how to find the little nooks and crannies in there to, you know, twist around, push a little push down, and create some space, a little dirty stuff. But from when he enters the punch range, he smothers himself a lot.
They're like the Smothers brothers.
Yeah. So there he goes again.
Oh boy, here we go. What? The referee's like, what do I even do? He's gonna ride him.
It gets annoying though, man.
And you know what Baez hasn't did? I'm sorry to cut you off, champ. He hasn't timed this guy at all tonight.
He did a couple of times with a couple of uppercuts, but
accidentally. But he
accidentally.
He didn't time it with nothing.
He didn't actually make a mental note of it, saying, you know what, this punch is there. Let me look for it, or let me set it up. Right. You know, with a couple of touch jabs, he'll rush in behind my touch jab, and I'll time him with an uppercut. Nah,
none of that.
None of that at all.
That's only 1 point. Okay. Last one. Breathe. He always duck down. He duck down. He do this. The double, the punch. Bang, bang. This one. Bang, bang. Alright, gets one, you see, and then hurt. Follow up.
¿Qué hacerlo? Vamos, vamos.
There's a cool camera shot. Salute to all of our great production crew. It's been a very good looking event so far, which always isn't the case when you're doing your debut. But Black Prime looking good here tonight. This fight, not so much. The crowd really just hasn't gotten into it because it's more Greco-Roman wrestling than anything.
I'll tell you what, Toddy, if Baez just holds out his left hand, holds it out there, Khegai will try to get underneath it. You can set him up for uppercuts all the time. If you literally just hold his head out there, his hand out there, Khegai will try to get underneath it. That's the only way Khegai gets in every time. He's getting dipping low. And you can set him up for that right hand uppercut. You know, speaking of the uppercut we were talking about, that he accidentally landed a couple times, but he hasn't even made a mental note that it's there. So Khegai gets a free entrance into the front door and does his work.
Well, in a fight that is this rough and sloppy, you're wondering if all the judges are going to see it like blue.
I don't know what the judges are going to see tonight. We've been 0 for 2 so far.
Yeah, but I mean, he's too active to not give him the rounds. You know, it's just it's one of those things. Like I said, every round becomes a microcosm of the previous round, and the whole fight itself is in one round essentially. You know, you just watch it on loop.
It's getting really sloppy, and I don't think it serves either one of these fighters. I think both of them are better than what they're showing tonight.
Well, plenty of effort for both fighters, I will say that. A lot of punches thrown.
Yeah, it's an effort fight. You know, Restaurant trying to close strong now. But it's been mostly an effort fight.
And you wonder if that deducted point for Khegai will play any part in our decision. Minute to go here in Omaha. Oh, that uppercut stood him up.
Khegai said, all right, you landed one. I think they're just on automatic pilot chant. No, they just get close, walk up to each other, and just throw a bunch of punches. I don't even think either of them is thinking anymore.
Let's just hope this isn't somehow a draw and people want a rematch.
They back and step in, Rick. It's the same thing every time. Nobody steps around. Nobody takes a walk around in a circle, changes the angle.
Well, it looks like Khegai going to beat a title contender, and he'll probably be screaming that maybe he should deserve a title shot next. And that does it. 10 awkward, sometimes ugly rounds that seemingly Arnold Khegai got the best of, but we will have to go to the judges and find out. Baez seemingly thinks he's won it. Arms up, parading around happy. Any chance, Antonio, that Baez gets the decision? Any chance?
Anything can happen tonight. Look like, I mean, I don't think so, though, but we'll see how close it was. I'm interested to see what the judges did score.
Yep. Khegai with a point deduction for holding. Could have got point deductions for hitting behind the head, hitting in the back. The referee was quite lenient.
I personally didn't see a round where Baez won clearly. Now, he did have a moment in the 7th round where he got a little combination. It looked like if any round you could have gave him was the round that they took the point in. So he won that one anyway, but it could be 10-8 with him winning that round outright.
Blue, how did you have it?
I had it 99-90 in favor of Khegai. You know, they took the point away, so it took away 100. Right.
Yeah. So you had him winning that round.
Yeah, I still having him winning the round.
All right, Lupe Contreras has the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after going the distance inside the BLK Prime ring, we go to the scorecard to determine a winner. Judge Mealy scores about 96-93 in favor of Khegai. Judge Contreras, 95-94 in favor of Baez. And Judge Sennett scores about 95-94 in favor of the winner. By way of split decision, from Ukraine, Arnold Khegai.
Well, it was close.
Yeah, this is the third time, bro. I don't know what's going on. This is the third call tonight that we had the other way tremendously, and then it was
close. Yeah.
This fight was too close for comfort.
This fight was so the 95-94 bias. That means that would have been a draw, but Khegai, the point cost Khegai that scorecard. That card would have been a draw. Wow. Otherwise, Khegai got it in a close fight. But I don't know. I didn't think it was that close, just because the activity was so one-sided. The activity rate.
Maybe it was so rugged in there, and he wasn't doing it effectively. Maybe the judge really didn't.
But neither was bias.
Right.
As we jump into our highlights, well, as I was saying earlier, you know, even if the referee doesn't deduct points, judges may be like, it's obvious he's fouling. I'm going to maybe give this round to the other guy if it's close, just because of the style he's incorporating.
Maybe. I don't know. then again, everybody fouling in there. Yeah. It's just a matter of how obvious you make it. Your guy makes it look a little more obvious.
Just didn't see any clean boxing from either fighter tonight.
We were hoping this would be a fight of the night contender.
Now fight of the night coming later.
Maybe Cyborg can give us something better.
Well, they did put a lot of effort into the fight, that's for sure. Gave it all they had. Just wasn't the style for either man. But in the end, it's Arnold Khegai who moves onward and upward. And you think he's ready for a title shot against somebody?
You know, I can see when I watch him fight here why he came up short against a guy like Fulton, who is, you know, who has so much more of a versatile style and so more complete style. I don't know. I think a guy still has some work to do. Listen, it was a good win. It was against a guy who would fall for a world title, but I wouldn't put him into a title shot in his next fight unless it was too good of an offer.
I agree with you, but before this, I thought maybe looking at the records that this matchup could be something like an eliminator or somewhat, but nah. Even the guy won has to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
All right, with that, we send it back up to Dave.
Todd, thanks. Khegai gets the win. Split decision. As the guys ringside said, controversial decision possibly, but the star from Ukraine, who had to flee due to the Russian war, has been through so much personally now. Fights out of France. Coming here to Omaha to get the victory here tonight. You got to root for a guy like that. He's been through so much personally. Good fighter, good technical fighter tonight. What an atmosphere here in downtown Omaha. 18,000 fans here at the CHI Health Center. It's sold out. Buzzing with anticipation, getting ready for the main event tonight. We can't wait. Avanesyan, Crawford, head to head. Zab Judah.